Hey everybody, my name is Abby and this is Sunny D Writes. Today's video is one that was inspired by a lot of problems that I had as my younger self and as a starting writer. And that problem that I'm talking about today is how to connect with other writers. As a general rule, most writers tend to be introverts, every writer that I know is an introvert. And so for a lot of us, reaching out to connect with people that share our passions can be daunting and difficult, but not if you really put your mind to it. Let me clarify. When you are a writer connecting to other writers, you are putting your heart and soul and everything that went into your work out there just so that other people can read it, and that is terrifying. But connection is a two-way street, so if you are putting out your own work and sharing it with other people, there's a pretty good chance that the people around you are also sharing their work. And so it can be pretty terrifying when you're starting out, but it's really important for us to remember that when we're sharing our work, we're not the only ones doing it. Anyway, let's hop into it. Here's how to connect with other writers. Or actually, maybe let's rewind for a second. Why should I connect with other writers? Firstly, writers are really cool people. I mean, have you seen my cactus shirt? In all seriousness though, most writers that you'll meet are really hardworking and creative people, and they're people that you can really come to value as friends. And when you find other writers to be friends with, you find somebody who knows the struggle of writing, who knows what it's like to go through your editing, your drafting, your development. I just said all of those backwards, but everything involved in the writing process. Because a lot of people, if they aren't writers, it can be pretty tough for them to genuinely relate to the things that you're telling them. But writers understand. Now, please don't take this as kind of a, nobody gets me kind of thing. I mean it like writers understand writer problems. It's also good to have some writing connections just so you know what you're getting into, especially people who are more experienced. People who are more experienced can be a lot of help when you're figuring out what exactly you need to be doing to prepare and go through the publishing process. And when you're talking to inexperienced writers, you can give some of your own advice or maybe gain a new mindset. Either way, connecting with writers is really cool. It's important to remember though that connections aren't everything. Who you know isn't going to instantly equal success in the writing business. For example, if I know John Green, that doesn't mean that my novel's immediately going to get published, because if my novel sucks, John Green's not going to be able to do anything about that. So, we know the why, let's hop into the how. Number 1. Social media is your friend. Now, this may be contrary to a lot of popular beliefs when it comes to writing, because social media is the bane of all kinds of focus. Using social media and putting your own work out there and using it to connect with other people is what's going to help you build your platform. For example, I'm here on YouTube because I wanted to expand my horizons a little bit. I've been on Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram for probably a couple years at least now. And I kind of wanted to give YouTube a try and just kind of see what's up with it. And it's a really fun platform for me to engage with. And I'm also getting to meet a lot of new people in my comment section, so I'm just saying if you want to be friends or if you want to chat or anything, leave a comment down below. But having social media and just getting your name out there is already a step in the right direction when it comes to connecting with others. Number 2. Sometimes you will have to take that first step. And this is terrifying. Talking to others for the first time and putting yourself out there for a lot of people is incredibly daunting, but it pays off pretty well most of the time. I mean, as long as you're not dropping into somebody's inbox or their DMs and leaving rude comments or anything, most of the time, writers are going to give you the time of day. Even if you're just dropping in to say, hey, I really like that story of yours. I mean, if you haven't put any thought into that before, that really means the world to pretty much any writer out there. Especially for writers like myself who put out writing advice and who talk about writing in general, who sometimes post writing humor on other blogs and stuff like that. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless. You can just pop in there and leave anything, and most writers will, like I said, give you the time of conversation. So while it can be pretty daunting at first, this is something that takes a lot of practice. I mean, I'm somebody who kind of knows that by now, and the more that you do it, the easier it gets. Number 3. Remember that it is a two-way street. I'm including this one for a couple of reasons. The first is that you may not be the first person reaching out all the time. Sometimes other writers will see your work, or they'll have a question for you, or they'll just want to pop in for a chat, and you will be the one getting approached. But like I said, it is a two-way street, so you can't expect everybody or all of your connections to come from people approaching you. You have to take some of the first steps. The second reason that I'm including this one is because it's important for you to read the room, because in all honesty, not all writers are super comfortable with talking to people that they don't know. That was a really big obstacle for me when I first started, because I wasn't super comfortable with talking with people that I hadn't met in person first. And so it's important to realize that if you are reaching out to other writers, some of them won't be super comfortable with it, and that's not something that you can push or should push. Number 4. Take advantage of your opportunities. There are lots of group chats and Discord chats and places for writers to connect all over the place out there. And while they're available to you, they are not going to be any help unless you actually use them. If you're looking for a place to start with this one, I actually just started a writing Discord a couple days ago called Tripping the Right Fantastic, and I will say that it's pretty cool, so I will leave the link down below if you happen to want to join, because it's a super cool bunch for us all. But there are plenty of other writers out there who have Discords or have group chats on different social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram, and some websites like NaNoWriMo allow for writers to connect with each other there and chat on forums. And I mean, the possibilities for you are genuinely endless. So look around, take a second and search up the internet. So look around, take a second, search for any opportunities you can think of, like the ones that I just mentioned, or anything else that might come to mind. And if you find them, use them. Number 5, don't overextend yourself. This applies especially if you're not much of a social person in the first place, because trying to connect with 40 other writers at the same time can be exhausting. So pace yourself. If your goal is to connect with other writers, instead of sending 5 messages a day every day for a week, try sending maybe 5 messages a week for a longer amount of weeks, just so you can kind of get the feeling of connecting to other writers on a more individual basis. This will also make your connections probably more worthwhile too, because when you're trying to talk to 40 different people at the same time, and you're trying to make connections with all of them at the same time, it usually shows in the quality of your conversation and the attention that you give to each person. And nobody likes feeling like they're being used to make a connection. I mean, it's just not fair. I'm sure you don't like it. I know I definitely don't like it. Nobody else should either, and it's just not super cool, so don't do it. And I mean, there are lots of other things that you can do and lots of things that you can pay attention to when it comes to trying to form connections or trying to build a writing network. Whatever it is that you decide to do, a support network is something that I would absolutely recommend that you build, just because it'll be a place for you to go with writers who understand what you're going through throughout your process. And like I said, if you need a place to start, I will be leaving the link to my Discord down below. And if you have any comments or follow-up questions, you can also leave them in the comments down below or over on my blog at Sunny D Writes. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video or if you found it helpful, don't forget to subscribe or drop a like on this video to let me know. If you found this video extra helpful or if you liked it a whole lot, which I think would be super cool, you can let me know by clicking the link to my Ko-Fi, which I will leave down below, in which you can leave a one-time donation of $3. I think I covered all my bases. Did I cover all my bases? I think I covered all my bases. And until next time, happy writing!